Okay, everybody. In this lesson, we're going to discuss the system backups. Part of your regular system maintenance should always include performing backups. Backups protect all of our critical information. Backups are useful in situations where you need to restore files that have been accidentally deleted, that have been changed, or have been corrupted. So, different types of backups. Well, let's look at some of the different types of backup data that you'll want to back up. One, system state data. System state data includes all the files required to boot and run the computer. This includes the operating system files, the registry, the drivers, and any configuration files. User data includes all the data files saved and modified by users or applications. User data is the most important kind for any company, and because user data changes constantly, you'll want to back up the user data frequently and on a regular schedule. Next is the application data, which includes files installed on an application and an application configuration files. Application data changes only following the installation of an application or following a configuration change. So these backup types don't need to be completed as frequently. Image backup data includes everything on the system's hard drive, including the operating system files, applications, configurations, and user data. Next thing we want to talk about is the different types of system backups or different backup methods. So when we back up our system, you're going to be able to choose from several different backup methods. The first one I want to talk about today is our full backup. The full backup is exactly what it sounds like. It backs up everything. Every file and every piece of data from the original hard drive is backed up to another drive each time the backup runs. It's the most complete backup you can choose, and most organizations run full backups at least weekly. Next will be our incremental backups. An incremental backup backs up every file that's changed since the last full or incremental backup. This goes a lot faster than the full backup, allowing you to back up files daily. But incremental backups have one big drawback. Restoring the data takes a long time. The first thing you have to do is restore the first full backup. Then you have to restore each incremental backup in the order that it was created. So say you completed the full backup on Monday and an incremental backup on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and on Friday your system crashes, you're going to need to go back to your first full backup. You need to restore the full backup. Then you need to follow up by restoring the incremental backup from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, one at a time, which then could take hours to complete. So we also have what's called a differential backup. Now, the differential backup backs every file that's changed since the last full backup. Now, this has advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantage is that you're backing up every day, each day, and backup gets bigger and bigger. Then by the end of the work week, you're backing up a week's worth of data instead of a day's worth. The advantage is that if your system crashes, you can restore data quickly because you only need to restore two backups, the last full backup and the last differential backup. Now, there's something called a synthetic backup. Now, the synthetic backup merges the benefits of full backup with the benefits of an incremental backup. It compares the data found in the last full backup with the current content and uploads only those changes. This does take less time and resources than a full backup, but shouldn't be used in place of regular full backups. You can store backups to secondary internal hard drives, external hard drives, optical drives, or even USB drives. You should keep backup copies off-site to prevent the loss of data during a disaster. You can keep them in network devices, or you can keep them at a different facility. You can keep them with cloud-based services. Here's a strategy for backing up, okay? It's called a 3-2-1 backup rule. It involves maintaining 3 copies of your data. 2 copies are kept on site on 2 different types of devices, and a 3rd copy is kept off-site just in case there's a disaster in the building. So how often should you back up? Well, to ensure that you don't lose data, make sure to perform your backups on a regular basis. Most organizations create a strict rotation schedule for performing full and partial backups. One commonly used rotation scheme is the grandfather, father, son, or a GFS. The grandfather is a full backup that's completed once a month or so and stored off-site. The father is a full backup that's completed once a week and stored on-site. And the son is an incremental backup that occurs daily and is kept on-site. So in summary, okay, in this lesson, we discussed system backups. We discussed several different backup types that we can create. We also discussed various backup methods and how often you should perform them. So now you do want to ask yourself, what type of data is backed up with a system image backup? Why should you test restore methods? Where should you store backup media? Which types of media can back up and restore right to? And what is the difference between backup and restore and file history? Those are questions that you might want to research and ask yourself, but I can tell you right out of the gate, the reason you should test your restore methods is to make sure that what you backed up is backed up and that when someone needs it, you can get it for them. I did run into an incident probably about 10 years ago. We kept checking the backups. All the folders were there every week. We were getting notifications from the backup system that the files were backed up successfully. And then when a disaster did occur, we went to restore files. The folders were all empty. So make sure that you frequently check your backups. Make sure that they're working. I prefer to keep mine on a hard drive in the server room, and then I keep a VPN link to an off-site server, and I make a mirror copy off-site all the time, so I'll always have 2 copies of my backup at all times. That's it for today's lesson, and we will talk to you soon.